Welcome to Out of Bounds, and today we will cross the USA-Canada border at Niagara Falls. At 8,891 kilometers long, the international border between the United States and Canada is the longest in the world. The border was first established at the conclusion of the American Revolutionary War in 1783 and came to its current shape in 1908. Much of the border, particularly in the west, follows basically a straight line through the wilderness, often with a man-made deforestation zone. This might look boring, but given the border's extraordinary length, there are also many interesting and stunning sights, including the famous Niagara Falls. We are approaching Niagara Falls from the US state of New York. The interstate highways take us through some hills and farms and typical summer weather here. On the final portion, the I-190 crosses a couple of bridges on and off Grand Island, the largest island in the Niagara River just south of the falls. We will first make a short stop in the Niagara Falls State Park on the US side. The park consists of the eastern cliffside of the Niagara River plus Goat Island, an island in the Niagara River which is also on the US side of the border. The park has well-paved footpaths that lead to the edge of the powerful Niagara River. The waterfall immediately beyond the railings here is the American Falls, which is 34 meters high and 290 meters wide and receives about 11% of Niagara River's total water flow. You can also clearly see the tall buildings on Canadian territory on the other side of the river. A few steps back from the American Falls, there is a bridge to Goat Island, where visitors can walk over to Terrapin Point, the westernmost corner of Goat Island on the edge of the much larger Horseshoe Falls. Another place to see the entire Niagara Falls from the US side is an observation platform that extends into the river, though access is limited to those who take the Maid of the Mist tour boat. We will not dwell here for too much longer though. We're here to cross the border, so let's get going. The parking lot of the state park is right next to the Rainbow Bridge that connects the two countries, so we will just need to do a quick U-turn.
Make a U-turn at 1st Street.
Completed in 1941, Rainbow Bridge is a steel arch bridge that spans 440 meters across the Niagara River. Both cars and pedestrians can use the bridge, with toll being $1 for each pedestrian and $6 for each car crossing from the US to Canada direction. Except for the collection of this toll, there is normally no formal border exit procedure and you would simply just drive out onto the bridge. As the bridge surface is 62 meters above the river, pedestrians can enjoy a quite nice view of the waterfalls from the deck. The bridge and its supporting structures are so high off the water surface not for navigational considerations of course, but instead to prevent any ice formations from damaging the bridge. In the center of the bridge, US and Canadian flags are flown side by side, marking the physical international border. On the Canadian end of the bridge, there are 15 border clearance booths. On the day of our travel, only a few were open, but the wait was still quite short. When crossing by car, you would need to hand over the travel documents of everyone on board to the border officer and just respond to the instructions and questions. The questions we received were quite innocuous, and the whole interaction lasted less than 1 minute.
Alright, thank you.
And with that, we have officially cleared into Canada. The roadways and signages in Canada look quite similar to their US counterparts. The one thing to certainly note is that all speed limits are now displayed in kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour, as Canada switched to the metric system over the 1970s and 80s.
Three-quarters of them.
A bit to the southwest of the bridge is the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls. The Niagara River Parkway hugs the river shore, around which there are many well-paved walkways. These get quite close to the waterfalls and the mist often sprays onto the walkways. From the Canadian side of the river, you get a more direct view of how the entire Niagara Falls is laid out. The cliffs that form Niagara Falls are actually part of the larger Niagara Escarpment, a line of discontinuous long cliffs or escarpment formed as a result of unequal erosion. The escarpment extends for over 1,000 kilometers from the US Upper Midwest through southern Ontario in Canada to western New York State. It is also easy to see Terrapin Point where Goat Island meets the Horseshoe Falls. This is one dramatic view of the international border. The Horseshoe Falls itself is over 50 meters high and 790 meters wide. It is much larger than the waterfalls on the US side and carries around 90% of the water flow in Niagara River. The striking blue and green colors of the water are partially caused by eroded rock flour and dissolved salts in the Niagara River. There is also a structure called the International Control Dam about 1.5 kilometers upstream from the Horseshoe Falls, which regulates water flow in accordance to the 1950 Niagara Treaty, signed between Canada and the United States to manage water usage by hydroelectric plants. To fully immerse yourself in Niagara Falls, both figuratively and literally, it is highly recommended that you take a cruise to the falls. These short cruises run from both the US and Canada sides and last around 20 minutes. The ones on Canada's side are called Niagara City Cruises, while those from the US side have the more poetic name of the Maid of the Mist. The Canadian boats are manufactured by Hike Metal in Ontario, and each can carry up to 700 passengers. The actual experiences are very similar, with the most visible difference being the red raincoats used on the Canadian boats and the blue ones used on the US boats. And trust me, you're gonna appreciate the raincoats because the boats get quite up close to the immensely powerful mist of the Horseshoe Falls, where gale and water pelt in from all sides. I personally have not been inside of a washing machine, but let me tell you, this is what that must feel like. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more border crossing and travel content. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.